All right, my favorite section, multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So let's get right into it. The essential question, easy. How do I multiply and divide fractions that contain multiple terms? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're going to do 3 example questions. Each of these highly pleasurable. I love them. First example, this guy. Okay, now, we know that the multiplication of fractions means top times top, bottom times bottom. So like if I have something like 1 over 2 times 4 over 3, we know that that means multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and then you can reduce, right? But don't forget, since all of these things are eventually going to end up on the top, and since all of these things are eventually going to end up on the bottom, what I can do is I can do something called pre-reducing. And that says, hey, if you can find something on the top and the bottom that cancel before you multiply, that's allowed because you're going to do it in this step anyway. So let's take a look. I see that 4 and 2 can pre-reduce to 2 and 1. This means that on top I simply have 2 times 1, and on the bottom I simply have 3 times 1, and so I can get this answer directly by pre-reducing. We're going to use a similar technique here, if you like, which is to pre-reduce. So let's take a look. Now first of all, remember in class I said you're not allowed to cancel if there are terms adding on top. Clearly not the case here. I just have multiplication, they're all multiplying together. So let's take a look at some things I can pre-reduce. First of all, y squared on the bottom, y cubed on top. Okay, there are going to be 2 y's that go away here, and there's going to be 2 y's that go away here, which means that instead of 3 y's, I'll be left with just 1 y. In other words, just a y. Okay, easy. Also, there are 2 x's here and 3 x's on top. So just like with the y's, I'll be left with just 1 x on top. But oh wait, there are also another 2 x's on the bottom. So this remaining x will cancel with one of these x's. So I'll be left with just x on the bottom. Let's take care of the numbers then. 5 over 15 reduces to 1 over 3. So let's take stock of what I'm left with. Some of this chapter is just, can you keep yourself organized? On top, all I have is a y and a y, so y squared. On the bottom, I have this 3 and this x, so 3x. Easy. And I could do it by pre-reducing. By the way, you don't have to pre-reduce. If you wanted to multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms, totally fine. It will eventually reduce to this. Okay, but here's one that won't pre-reduce for sure. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to say, hey, here are 2 polynomials, let's superfoil, and then let's like do crazy stuff. No, I don't want to do that. Remember, the key here is if you have multiple terms, you need to start by factoring. It's very important to factor first, and the reason is I'm not simply allowed to cancel like this. Cancel within addition. Remember, this is a disaster. It will lead to you losing like all your points on the test and the quiz. You cannot cancel within addition. Why? Because let's think of something like this. How about 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 3? Okay, so let's just do PEMDAS, right? 2 over 4. Hey, that reduces to 1 over 2, right? That's what the answer should be. Take a look at what happens if I cancel within addition. Oh, look, there's a 1 on top and a 1 on the bottom. I guess that leaves me with 1/3, right? Well, but we thought the answer was supposed to be 1/2. These do not match. Canceling within addition does not work. So we factor instead. Now, the issue is here, there are kind of 4 different things I have to factor. Here's a thing I have to factor, 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 and then I can worry about pre-reducing. So much factoring, and it will lead to so much killing afterwards, and it'll be a joy. So let's factor this first. All right, x plus 4, x minus 1. If you're not good at factoring yet, get good. You need to be very fast with this chapter. This looks like x plus 2 times x plus 2. This guy, I'll just work anti-clockwise. X minus 3, x minus 1. Now on top, remember this is a 2 terms one, so instead of trying to get 2 different binomials like I did for all the other ones, I'll just worry about pulling out the GCF. In this case, the GCF is definitely 2x plus, okay, so I can pull out 2x. That leaves me with x plus 2. Nice. So now, just like I did on the last slide with all this pre-reducing, that's what I'm going to do here. Let's see if there's anything on the top and the bottom that will cancel. And there definitely are. Look, x minus 1 on top, x minus 1 on the bottom. Kill it. Yes, get rid of it. Next, x plus 2 on the bottom, x plus 2 on the top. They're gone. I think that's it. So on the top, and here's how you can write your answer. Just write 2x times x plus 4. Like, leave it factored out. You do not need to distribute back in. Same on the bottom. Just write x plus 2 times x minus 3. Just leave it factored out. This is going to be your final answer. And look, I pre-reduced, and then I multiplied top times top and bottom times bottom after I factored. Awesome. Next, we're going to throw division in. Don't get freaked out by division. Remember that if I have something like 1 over 2 divided by, let's do 2 over 3. Remember, I don't really know how division with fractions works. Something I'm not allowed to do is like pre-reduce. That's a multiplication thing. But since I don't know how division works, and I do know how multiplication works, I can turn this into a multiplication problem. But since I'm doing the opposite here, I also have to do the opposite here, so reciprocate. This will be 3 over 4. So these problems are exactly the same, it's just we need to reciprocate first. So let me just rewrite this problem, but reciprocate it. Wouldn't you agree that this x squared would now be on top, and this x squared minus 14x plus 45 would now be on the bottom? I reciprocated, and since I reciprocated, now instead of division, I'm doing multiplication. Okay, so now I can use all of my factoring and pre-reducing strategies that worked before. So again, remember, I need to factor every single zone. Don't just start canceling. That will lead you to lose all of your points. I need to factor first. So x squared minus 6x minus 27. Definitely x and x. I'm thinking minus 9 plus 3. And again, if my factoring is going too quickly for you, I'm assuming you remember it. Maybe go back and watch a video from like chapter 4 or 5. I think that's where we did some other factorings. Okay, next one. Only 2 terms. Pull out the GCF, which is 2x. It doesn't just leave me with x. Remember, when you divide 2x divided by 2x, that leaves me with a plus 1. Okay, so much for that fraction. On the other fraction, I have an x squared on top. You don't need to write x times x, just write x squared. Like, you could write x times x, but there's no need. On the bottom, okay, x and x, thinking minus 9, minus 5. All right, let's kill some stuff. This is the fun part. There's an x minus 9 and an x minus 9. No other parentheses, but look at this. I have an x on the bottom, and I have 2 x's on top. So this x on the bottom is going to go away, and one of the x's on top are going to go away as well. And I think that's it. So my final answer, multiplying top times top, is x times x plus 3. Again, leave it factored out. Bottom times bottom, 2 times x plus 1 times x minus 5. Whew, fun stuff. I love this section. It's fun and easy and leads to satisfyingly simplified results. So anyway, your summary, always factor first. Do not cancel with an addition. Disasters will happen. Then you get to kill, cancel all the things you see. That's all. Cheers.